A young gray whale swims beside its mother through the cold waters of the ocean. For months, it has been preparing for this journey, following a route that millions of animals travel every year in search of food. But they are not the only ones who know the way. Not far away, a pod of orcas waits patiently. They know exactly where to find their prey and have perfected hunting techniques capable of bringing down animals far larger than themselves. Today, we will discover how an invisible force moves enormous amounts of food across the planet, driving massive migrations and connecting creatures as different as microscopic organisms, giant whales, and some of the ocean's most formidable predators. But how can something as simple as an ocean current lead to dramatic encounters like the one between that mother whale and her calf? To answer that question, we need to go back long before the orcas appear. We need to return to where this story truly begins. At first glance, the ocean seems like a vast and empty place. Yet beneath the surface lies a complex network of currents that transports nutrients across thousands of miles. Without them, much of marine life simply would not exist. These currents feed plankton, tiny organisms that form the foundation of one of the largest food chains on Earth. And wherever plankton thrives, other creatures soon arrive to take advantage of the abundance. Among them is krill, a small crustacean that, despite its size, supports some of the largest animals ever to live. Millions of these tiny creatures gather in enormous swarms, attracting fish, seabirds, and giant whales from thousands of miles away. And whenever so much food is concentrated in one place, predators are never far behind. One of the clearest examples can be found around islands where powerful ocean currents collide with underwater mountains and coastal cliffs. As these currents are forced upward, they bring nutrient-rich waters from the depths to the surface. The result is an explosion of life. Tiny organisms multiply in staggering numbers. Schools of fish gather to take advantage of the feast, turning the surrounding waters into one of the most productive ecosystems on the planet. But abundance never goes unnoticed for long. The dense schools of fish soon attract larger predators. Fast-moving tuna arrive to hunt the smallest species, taking advantage of the endless supply of food. And where tuna gather, even bigger hunters begin to appear. Sharks from different species patrol the area, drawn by the same opportunity. For them, these waters have become a buffet that stretches for miles. Among the countless fish moving through these nutrient-rich currents are vast schools of sardines. Feeding on plankton, they travel together in enormous numbers, forming living clouds beneath the surface. Yet their numbers offer little protection. As the sardines move through the water, predators attack from every direction. Sharks charge into the schools, scattering thousands of fish in seconds. What began with microscopic organisms drifting through the ocean has now become a feeding ground for some of the sea's most efficient hunters. And this pattern repeats itself across the planet. From tropical islands to the icy waters of the north, the same invisible force continues to move food through the oceans, drawing animals across thousands of miles in one of the greatest migrations on Earth. But the influence of these currents extends far beyond a single island. Thousands of miles away, in the cold waters of Alaska, the same process is taking place on an even larger scale. Nutrient-rich waters fuel massive blooms of plankton, creating one of the most productive feeding grounds on Earth. For countless animals, this abundance is impossible to ignore. Among the first to arrive are vast schools of herring. Drawn by the endless supply of food, millions of these fish gather in enormous numbers, transforming the surrounding waters into a living silver river. And they do not come alone. Following close behind are humpback whales. After traveling thousands of miles across the ocean, they arrive to take advantage of one of nature's greatest seasonal feasts. Every year, these migrations repeat themselves with remarkable precision. The whales are not following maps, nor are they guided by visible landmarks. Instead, they are responding to a chain of events that began far away, carried across the oceans by powerful currents and sustained by tiny organisms drifting beneath the surface. But even these immense gatherings are only part of a much larger cycle. As the herring prepare to reproduce, millions of them move toward coastal waters to spawn, beginning the next stage in a process that will feed countless other creatures. For the herring, the journey is not only about feeding, it is also about survival. As the breeding season begins, millions of fish move toward the coastline to spawn. In a matter of days, vast stretches of shallow water become filled with eggs. The ocean floor is soon covered by a living blanket of new life. But in nature, abundance always attracts opportunity. Before many of the eggs have a chance to hatch, scavengers and opportunistic predators begin to arrive. Crabs emerge from the seabed, feeding on the nutrient-rich feast left behind by the spawning fish. What appears to be a simple reproductive event quickly becomes a source of food for countless other species. The story does not end with whales, sharks, or even the vast schools of herring. Every year, countless marine species continue to follow the same ancient cycle. Drawn by food, they travel across enormous distances, gathering wherever the conditions are right. Some arrive to feed, others arrive to reproduce, and many arrive to hunt those that came before them. Yet behind every migration, every hunt, and every gathering lies the same invisible force: ocean currents. Without them, nutrients would never reach the places where life depends on them most. The plankton would not flourish, the krill would disappear, and the chain that supports some of the largest animals on Earth would begin to collapse. From tiny drifting organisms to giant whales crossing entire oceans, every creature is connected by a system that has shaped life for millions of years. A silent network of moving water that continues to power the world's oceans to this day.